Talking with the Past, and today we're going to talk about the contraceptive sponge. With the emergence of the new woman in the early 20th century, contraception took a major turn as opinions and beliefs changed about parenthood. Young women were urged by society to raise the birth rates after the trauma of the First World War that manifested significant reclaim for their bodily freedom. With the premises of women's societal emancipation, this contraceptive method, known by womenkind for centuries, made a significant comeback. And today, Talking with the Past will introduce to you the contraceptive sponge, a contraceptive method sometimes underrepresented to the benefit of more invasive and inconvenient techniques. Eden Millet, Dr. Jade Mignon and historian Théa Lombard have kindly accepted to join us on the stage today to elaborate on this method. Eden Millet, you're a specialist of Maristops. She founded the Society of Constructive Birth Control, right?
Indeed, she created the Society of Constructive Birth Control to promote a new method of contraception, the contraceptive sponge. At that time, the most effective method of contraception was spermicide, often in the form of a shower or suppository. Cervical caps were also very popular as means of contraception, but the innovation that Maristops decided to promote is the contraceptive sponge. Impregnated with spermicide, this sponge is a new form of contraception for women. Made of rubber or natural sponge, it is soaked in spermicide, which destroys the sperm and ensures greater effectiveness. Designed for women only, it adapts to women's vagina, in which it is inserted thanks to its handy material.
Dr. Jade Mignon, you're a sexual health specialist. We know contraception was always a difficult topic. It was something new, this contraceptive method. How did women like it?
Women in the 1920s were not experts on their body, and unlike today, they were not encouraged to explore their own anatomy. Therefore, it was a new and frightful experience to use a contraceptive sponge. Thanks to Margaret Sanger's pamphlet, Family Mutation, they were given the possibility to explore their own anatomy and see how to insert contraceptive sponge. The instructions given were that a woman would soak the sponge in the spermicide for a few minutes and then insert it as far as they could at their vagina before sexual intercourse. Side effects, however, include skin irritation on the vulva and vagina. The sponge was still not widely used or popular among working-class couples in Britain. Couples preferred the withdrawal method. In terms of access to health information, there were not many works to be found about the subject to help educate women. Stops at the end of her book, A Manual on Birth Control, actually gave a list of recommendations.
Now let's have a quick look at our historical facts. Can you tell us a little more about contraception in history and more specifically contraceptive sponge?
Well, in the early 20th century, the contraceptive sponge became an object that intertwined both concepts of utility and hygiene, as it was used in close proximity and in the intimacy of women and couples. Furthermore, it also demonstrated how women were not only birth givers and mothers, but human beings that could have access and power over their own bodies.
How does the contraceptive sponge relate to these notions of power and independence?
Sexuality and contraception were indeed faintly discussed. However, throughout the years, women started to get more involved into planification of their pregnancies, leading to the rise of the birth control movement and feminist movements. Birth rates started to decrease, contraception became more common, and as it was shown in ads.
How did this evolution appear publicly?
Well, the contraceptive sponge started a conversation about the exploration of women's bodies and their own anatomy. This area was very much feared by women, old and young alike, as they knew just a few things about their bodies and especially vaginas.
Thank you all for attending this episode of Talking with the Past and helping our listeners and myself visualize how women dealt with contraception back then.